So I saw a tweet, I think it was a tweet, maybe it was an Instagram post, of you on the side of the road in Seattle with flashing lights. What was that about?
Oh yeah, dude. I got to use that is a horrible way of saying that. I guess my first thing I should say is I hope the person's all right. But I used something I learned in a Smarter Everyday video to help a person in the middle of a wreck in Seattle, which was completely unexpected.
So you're just walking down the street at night and there's a wreck right in front of you?
No, dude, it was a little weirder than that. So I'm in Seattle. I'm up there. This company called Puget Systems. They work on these really cool computers. They're basically systems engineers for computers, and I'm having some issues with mine. And I went up there to work on a solution for a Smarter Everyday editing machine. So I'm up there. It's just a there and back kind of thing, and I want to go get some seafood. I'm tired, and I just got an Uber to go to a local, I guess it's a crab shack? Not a crab shack, some kind of local salmon place or whatever.
Okay.
Get back in the Uber, heading back to the hotel. We're at the hotel, and the guy won't turn. There's a green light. I'm like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, I hear somebody screaming. I'm just going to do it. Loud Jesus, help him! She's like, screaming. And I was like, that's something you normally hear in the South. I'm in Seattle. Something's wrong. And so I'm like, what's going on? And I locate the sound. It's to the left of the car behind me. And I look, and there's a wreck. A huge black SUV has plowed into the back of this white truck. And I look at the Uber guy, and he's not turning because there's like car debris all over the intersection. And then I see somebody trying to pull somebody out of a car. I was like, oh, snap.
Whoa.
This is real. And so I try to communicate with the driver. He doesn't speak English very well. And so I was like, oh, wow. You know those moments where it's like, this is go time?
I was made for this.
What do you mean? That's what you think?
Yeah, it's one of those moments. Like,
yeah,
this is the moment I was built for. I know what to do. Action.
Yeah, exactly. And so I took everything that was in my hands and I started putting it into my bag. I had a backpack. I started shoving it in the backpack and I said, in the ride, drop me off here. I'm getting out. He's like, what? I was like, gone by the time he had figured it out. At the car, they're pulling this large dude out of this SUV and his legs don't work. And I'm coming straight off of my uncle recently being paralyzed. I'm like, oh no, I was like, we got to get you on the ground, man.
So this is the guy who rear-ended the dude in the pickup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, stand me up, put me on my feet. I was like, no, dude, we need to lay you down. It's very important that we get you stabilized right now. We got to lay you down. And the way he was talking and looking at me, and I'm supporting all of his weight at that moment, and I've got him propped up against the car, and I could just tell something wasn't right. And he says, call my girl. I'm not supposed to be driving. I was like, crap. I was like, this is the same situation where my uncle ended up paralyzed. I started getting a little angry, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I kind of quit thinking about that person's well-being as much as I should. And I feel a little guilty about that. But
I get why you were irritated, though. That's the same dude with your uncle, right? Like that guy that hit him didn't have insurance, probably shouldn't have been behind a wheel at all in terms of ability.
Yeah.
Just driving ability. And so, yeah, you get a little irritated. I get it.
I didn't know if he was drunk or high or what. I didn't smell anything. I was just like, something's off. And so my attention started turning to the other vehicle. So I propped this guy up, literally prop him up. And because he's not listening to me, he doesn't care about his own well-being. He's not thinking correctly. So I hand him off to another individual, and I go over to the other car. And I start looking around, and there's a dude in there laying down in this old, like, steel Ford pickup truck from, like, the mid-'80s. It's a steel truck, you know, and it's crumpled up. But the cab is pretty much intact. And we can't get into him. But he's laying there, and he's passed out. I'm like, what the heck? And so I start trying to figure out how to get into the car, and I can't. And I'm like, holy cow, man. I made a video about how to get into a car. And so I go and I look around and I find a rock. And I said, well, I know not to hit the middle of the window here because it won't break because it's tempered glass. So I'm going to hit the edge right here and the whole thing's just going to fall down. And I did it. It took 3 smacks and I got in there. And I was able to, the back glass was open and after that. And then I got in there to the guy. It was a little weird how it happened. We got in through the side door, and then we were able to access him through the back glass. And so I reached down, and I start trying to see if the guy's alive because he's not moving or anything. And I put my I feel like I'm making the story about me. It's not. It's about this guy. But
well, it's through your lenses, and I asked you, and I don't know that guy. So I think you're doing fine, is what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. So I reach in, and I start checking him to make sure he doesn't have a weapon, there's no knife or anything like that, because, you know, I'm thinking about my family. I want to make sure I make it back to my family. And I put my fingers on his neck. I have to, he's wearing it's Seattle, he's wearing a flannel, so I pull back his flannel shirt, and I put my fingers on his neck. Okay. And the dude, like, is completely out, but the moment my fingers touched his neck, he came alive like those horror movies, like, and he starts, like, clawing all over the place and trying to get out, but simultaneously grabbing the back of his head because he's just been hit, you know, real hard. And I don't know, man, it was crazy. And we were able to get doors open and stuff and work towards getting him out. And then the cops showed up, and they're like, get out of here. Or, you know, go over there. I said, yes, sir. So I went to the sidewalk, and when I get to the sidewalk, and I'm just trying to collect my thoughts and stuff, this cop came over, and he said, who hit him? And we're like, oh, that guy right over there. And he goes, like, over where? And the guy wasn't there. He had run on foot.
The guy you helped.
Yeah. Dude.
So you aided and abetted a criminal.
Pretty much. On accident.
It's disappointing.
And I just sat there and thought.
A video about not doing that.
Yeah. And I was simultaneously, at that moment, there's a lot of emotions there, right?
Yep.
You want to help people. Yep. And then this person clearly has no regard for the life that he may or may not have just destroyed. And so it was just this simultaneous, like, I feel very glad that I was able to, in some small way, help, which is use a little bit of knowledge I had to help get to this guy, which in reality, to the cops and paramedics, it was absolutely nothing. You know, in fact,
but it feels good to have some preparation or capacity to react to a situation.
To plan ahead of time, you know, and to have thought through something before you were in the situation so that when you're in the moment, you can think coolly.
Yeah, that's what that one Smarter Everyday video and the minute and 45 seconds right before you fall asleep are for.
What do you mean?
Well, that's when, as we've discussed, your brain games out what ninja moves you would use to defend your family.
Obviously.
My family's in peril. What would I do? Kick the first assailant in the face. Then kick him one more time just because I can. And I'm real tired. And then that's it.
Is that
so
what
if you
game
cobble
out?
all of that together, I know what to do. Yeah, my family's always in peril. It's like my pre-dream dream. It happens to my daughter, too. She'll come out and be like, I had one of those awake dreams right before I fall asleep, and you were all hurt. I'm like, I know, because you are my spawn. And so this is what your brain is genetically predisposed to do.
Do you always win in the dream?
No, not always. And it's not a dream. It's like a pre-dream dream. So I don't know really what you call it, but that is definitely the moment in my day where I game out what amazing, athletic, strategic, smart thing I would do in any high-pressure situation.
So you never, like, cower? You never, like, oh,
no.
Man, danger, I think I'll just take a nap.
No, that's what real dreams are for.
Oh, okay.
People want to kill me. I'll just run away. Unbelievably slowly. What the heck? I'm faster than this. Okay, but at any rate, do you know if the guy's okay?
I don't, and I really wish I did. That was a crazy 10 hours in Seattle. And
yeah.
I don't know. Every time I've gone to Seattle, it's got weird quick. The first time I went, I was going to Vancouver for Gordon's wedding. And
Gordon McGladdery?
Yeah, Shell in the Pit.
The guy who makes your music?
Yeah, that guy. So
yeah, cool.
I land in Seattle, and the way the connections work, they gave me like 10 minutes to make the connection because there was a delay from Atlanta or whatever, and I didn't make it. And I was like, what the heck? I gotta get to Vancouver. How do I do that? And I'm in Seattle, and there's no other flights. What do I do? And so I just got on Twitter. No, I got on the Seattle subreddit. That's what I did. And I said, would anybody mind smuggling me across the border to Vancouver? I'll pay you.
That's good. Put that right in print. Did you pay someone?
I paid them a taxi rate to get me across to Vancouver. But what was interesting about that is when I got to Vancouver, there was absolutely nowhere to stay because of I forget why. And
VancouverCon?
It's right.
Because all the movies and TV shows in the world were simultaneously filming there?
Yeah, that's actually what Gordon's wife does. She works on makeup. It's really cool.
No, not surprising.
So I showed up and I was like, well, what do I do in Vancouver? And there's this guy there named Bradley Friesen. He has a YouTube channel, and he's the guy with the helicopter. And I just texted him. I was like, dude, I'm in Vancouver. He's like, you can crash on my couch. I was like, okay. So,
excellent.
I just showed up at a dude's house I didn't know, and he was completely cool about it. He's like, hey, there's a couch, there's a shower, whatever. Do what you got to do. I was like, you're completely awesome. And he took me flying on a helicopter in the morning. It was really cool.
Is that the guy that you went clear off into like glacial mountain terrain with and
oh yeah,
landed a helicopter somewhere in the high country where you could just frolic around, but for some reason didn't fish?
Yeah, he is
goodness.
Completely rad. He's a really cool dude, really nice guy. And so,
dude, watching that and knowing you didn't fish, by the way, is like watching those children's shows where they find a giant trove of gold, but they're like, no, it'll turn us evil if we take the gold. Instead, let's let it be buried in some sort of earthquake. Leave it all. No, put it in your pocket. Find a way. Do something. You did the same thing. The fish that you were right next to in those shots when you touched down with that helicopter in pristine, unreachable alpine wilderness, you have no idea what you missed there.
There's actually a law, if I'm not mistaken, on the books that, okay, for example, let's say a farmer plows up a field on a wildlife refuge or something. They have some management areas where farmers can farm.
Okay.
If a farmer plows up that field, you are not allowed to go look for arrowheads in that. I mean, if you find one, you have to leave it there.
How do we get to arrowheads? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're talking about finding things and you have to leave it alone.
Oh, yep, gotcha.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha, yep. No, it all just came together for me just now.
We started at a wreck and now we're at arrowheads.
No, I'm going to make the sound with my hands. These are my fingers interlocking.
This makes perfect sense to me. Anyway.
Yeah, it all just came together. So, okay, all right. All the way back to the thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in an accident yourself?
I have, yeah. The first one was when I was really young, head-on collision, airbags deploy, whole bit. Yeah, I wasn't driving. I was in the back seat. Yeah, that was pretty wild. I've been in a few wrecks. One of my own making. They were wet roads, and I was trying to stop, and I didn't get stopped in time, and I slid into another car. And that was the Corolla, man. That thing was battered.
What year was your Corolla?
2001, man. It was.
Oh, that's a nice Corolla.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
That's fancy.
Yeah,
mine was a 1984. This is not nice.
Corollas are good. Anyway,
have you ever been in an accident where you or somebody you cared about was all shook up and disoriented, like the guy in the old truck?
Yeah. No, not where somebody was actually, seeing stars like in the cartoons. No, this guy was out. He did not know any language when he came to. He was in primal survival mode, and no amount of trying to console him or anything worked because he was 100% trying to figure out what his body was and how it worked and all those sorts of things.
Have you ever been in that state for any reason?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, me neither.
Being in control of your mind is a big deal, man.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me. That's why I don't do drugs. Even if they were legal tomorrow, I wouldn't do them because I want to be in control of my brain.
I think they should be legal tomorrow, but I wouldn't do them either.
Really?
It's just not for me. No.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, it's not my thing. I don't like the way I feel when I hit the caffeine a little too hard. I don't like that kind
in
of
my head,
jittery,
you've got,
like, I am so awake right now.
You've got this caffeine bong in your house. And every once in a while,
basically, I do, man.
Take a hit of the caffeine bong.
Yeah, you just put a bunch of 5-hour energies in there, add a little water, and just the fumes of that alone, the vapor.
We shouldn't put this on the podcast, man. People listen to this with kids.
Why on earth would anyone do? Okay. I'm going to vote in post that we keep that because I think it's innovative and important. And it's basically kids, youngsters. What Mr. Matt is describing is basically a 5-hour energy hookah. See, now it's all classy like.
It's all classy. Yeah, don't do drugs.
Let's dress that up real nice.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, I've never been in that situation where my brain didn't work, but I've like you crawled into a couple of accidents and tried to help folks, and that's weird.
It really makes you think about, man, we are in the balance right now. And what really struck me is immediately after the firemen and the paramedics and the cops cleared me out of the way, I thought to myself, wow, I looked down at my shirt. I've got someone else's blood on me. I'm like, man, this was a big deal in my life. This was a serious event for me to experience this. And those paramedics that rolled up, this was like Tuesday night to them.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, it made me think about their ability to process human suffering, pain, the best and worst of people. Like, I had to try to come to terms with all of that in that one moment. Like, that guy could have possibly destroyed this guy's life, and then he ran. He literally ran from the situation. And this guy probably has a family that he's trying to get home to, and they don't know where he's at right now. And there's just so much in the balance right now.
And he doesn't know where he's at right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was just an incredibly powerful moment because things are this is an inflection point. And I don't know, I thought about my own mortality and how fragile life is, and I had all those deep thoughts. And then I thought about what these paramedics and policemen and firemen see on a daily basis. And I thought, wow, this is, maybe I'm not as mature as I thought I was.
No, it's just what you're around, man. Witnessing the sheer power of the things that you shoot every day at, or used to shoot every day at your old job. That was kind of mind-boggling for me, except for the one that made that little popping, farting sound and then just fell over. But other than that, that's incredible power. For you, normal Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
For me, I don't usually see the blood and the gore and that stuff. I'm not on site for that, but I get called in right after. And so I go in and talk to the people after they got arrested for doing very, very bad things. And sometimes they're still wearing what they were wearing when they did the very bad things. And you go to hospitals and families to talk with people after very, very bad things happened. And I don't know. I don't know what it's like for an emergency responder. I've never been that. But you're right in that there is some kind of thing that happens in your brain when you're around that kind of stuff enough where, I don't know, maybe you compartmentalize just enough to be professional and helpful instead of emotionally wilting.
Well, I think what you do is different, though, because the moment that I saw was right at the inflection point. This, like, everything is happening, and what happens in the next 10 minutes is going to affect the rest of these people's lives. I was just a bystander. You, as a pastor or whatever fancy word you want to use, counselor, when you walk into a situation to try to help people make sense of what just happened, or, just accept the not ability to make sense of it, or however that works, people have had just a little bit of time to process which direction life is going to go now. And that has a lot of pain associated with it. And so you just jump right into that with those people. I don't know what you do, but it seems like it could feel like helping people drink a big old cup of poison or something like that.
Or maybe drinking the poison for them.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I probably don't do it right, but part of what I do, I think, is consume or help to get through some of the really tough stuff in life with people. I mean, you internalize some of it and grieve with people and hurt with people, and you certainly get in touch with your feelings when you've got other people's lives full of pain and stuff and difficult moments that you encounter with them, that you feel alongside them. Yeah, I don't know. Human empathy is an interesting thing because there's so empathetic you can be and still function, but also at some point in that night, you had to just get another Uber and get back to your hotel and get on with things. I mean, you had a flight to catch the next day.
Yeah.
So it's good that we're empathetic, but at the same time, we have jobs. There are people who exist in society to do different parts of responding to a tough situation because we should be empathetic, but we also need to continue to function. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, it is weird. I think in general, we feel like we have our lives together a lot more than we do.
You mean like you and me, or humans in general?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the correct answer.
Yeah, I do.
20 years ago, 2 days ago, it felt like my family completely had things under control and we were normal. All the kids done with high school, all into college and whatever's next. And Camilla just came up to the office where I was working in Montana. It's like, hey, I have to tell you something. It's really sad. I'm sorry. Like, okay. Mark died. What? Yep, there was a car accident and he was killed in it. And, you know, I made it sound a lot more composed than she sounded when she told me. It was a pretty emotional thing, but it was incredible, dude. It was like it probably took 5 seconds for her to tell me, sitting out there in the rain in the Buick.
She had to tell you that.
Yeah. And that's our BC AD, man. Everything pivots on that event for our family. Like all of our vocations, where my sister was going to college, she quit, she moved somewhere else, she did something different. I had aspirations of law school and being a lawyer. That's what I was up there to do. And I backed right out of that, changed my profession. My parents obviously were just devastated. And it was just one decision in one moment from a kid who just got his driver's license maybe 10 minutes earlier. And just, wow, the ripple effect. Even if you don't look at it from a sad, oh, you lost somebody, that's sad, but just from a butterfly effect point of view in history, what an enormous change that made to the trajectory of a whole lot of lives. Just an impact between one truck and one Dodge Daytona. And the world changes for tons of people.
Well, number one, I'm sorry that happened to your family. Number two, it doesn't even feel right to say anything after that because it's such a big thing. And I know I can't relate. There's so much about that event that I don't want to pretend to know or understand. But do you feel like you've been able to relate to other people because of that? And, you know, do you see any good that's come out of that?
Yeah. I understand a lot about loss, I think, and some of that from my own, a lot of that just from watching other people. I mean, it certainly changed my faith. I don't think out of desperation. I mean, maybe that's one of the things that put me on a trajectory to needing to really reevaluate my faith. But I don't know, it's not all just academic and ideas at that point. Like, you're really thinking through something that has serious implications. So yeah, there's good that came out of it. I mean, people's lives were touched by that. And I don't know, I'd like to think that a lot of that good that came out of it could have also come out of it without anyone dying.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll take a silver lining where it's at. And truth of the matter is, most of the time, that is something where I'm like, hey, life's tough. People die. You miss them. Part of what I really like and treasure about my faith is that it does come with hope. That's part of the package deal. So I know not everybody sees that the same way, but for me, I find great hope in that. But most of the time, it's the kind of thing where I can be pretty academic about it, and yeah, I just miss the kid. But I don't know, this is kind of just one of those, because we do everything in a base 10 system, you know, put 20 years on it, and it's a long time. And kind of a big number. And
you're saying so you're kind of revisiting that because 20 years.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago, 2 days ago. So I guess it's felt a little bit different this week. I tell you what, man, Harlan Cohen's The Five on Netflix has got a scene where if you have walked through something like I've walked through that I'm describing and you watch it, you're going to collapse into not like I sniffled a little bit at the end of the movie. No. You are going to hit the full on, I don't care how stupid I look or how much snot there is. This is just one of those things where you're going to have to cry until this moment is past. It was incredible and really cathartic.
I'm reading the synopsis here. 20 years after 5-year-old Jesse disappears near his home, his DNA turns up at the scene of a woman's murder, baffling his family and police. Oh, wow. So,
how about that timeline, huh?
Yeah, I'm connecting the dots. Somebody gets reconnected there is what you're saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, the story of their youth bumps all the way back to, I think, 1998, and then the story now is unfolding in 2018. So, the there were plenty of timelines and enough coincidences for me to empathize a whole bunch. But I hijacked your story about being around something that got through the armor. But I guess I'm saying I've also been around stuff that gets through the armor, and I get it.
Oh yeah, well, I know how to break windows with rocks.
I feel like I could figure out how to break a window with them. I mean, it's a good power. That's a very good power. You're like the shoveler.
I don't bring a lot to this conversation.
You shovel well. Dude, if you ever have a reason to get on the mic with me and tell me about how useful it was that you did that decompression, put on your mask first video.
Oh yeah, that'd be cooler, wouldn't it?
As long as everybody's okay. It's a little bigger deal if you end up with a story about that.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, that clicking is a cough drop that I put in because remember that cold that I had the other day?
Yeah, knocking it out.
It's not going away.
Well,
the cold is going away, but the perpetual cough. Come on. On a positive note, I have a new favorite HelloFresh meal.
Dude, before you talk about that, we tried the Mexican meals that you told me to try.
Yes.
What the heck,
like with
dude?
pineapples and stuff.
Yeah, how did I not know that was a thing?
I don't know what you were doing with your life before that. Do you feel like you have more clarity on who you are as a man now?
It's a big deal, man. So thank you for telling me. I never thought that you would be the one to expand my culinary selection. So thank you.
Oh, okay. That's right, because you're food condescending toward me at times.
Yes, that's true.
Well, let me expand them again. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. And they sponsor this podcast and this episode. So thank you, HelloFresh. They've got this Hall of Fame roster. Have you seen that?
What?
Yeah.
Are we on it?
No. I mean, we should be, obviously.
You're talking about the meals. I know. I just wanted to be on
the
Hall of Fame.
meals are the Hall of Fame thing. So my kids, because we took them to a bunch of Hall of Fames this year. We went to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Then I went to the Football Hall of Fame. Then we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so they're really into Halls of Fames. And so when they saw that, they got excited and they wanted to start ordering all the Hall of Fame menu items.
I haven't seen this.
Okay, it's real. It's a thing. And so in the process of that, they found this hot honey, like fried baked chicken thing. That's not actually the name. That's a paraphrase on my part.
Mm-hmm.
But holy cow, dude. I had that last night. I got 2 pieces of this. I got done. I was full. I was happy. And I immediately wanted to turn around and order more. It's like the best chicken in the history of the chickens.
That's awesome, dude.
Seriously. Like if I was right about the Mexican stuff with the pineapples, I'm right about this, and you need to do what I'm saying.
I will do
right
what
now.
you're saying. You were right about the Mexican food stuff. I will totally do it.
Like
Pineapple and Mexican food is
really
the right. That's the right answer. It just is.
It just works.
Dude, we had a burrito. We got, I don't remember if it was an enchilada or burrito. They're the same, just one has sauce, one's does. I don't know. Anyway, it was as big as my forearm, and man, I liked it. It was good.
In fairness, you have tiny shriveled forearms.
That's not
but that's
true.
Still a very large burrito.
It was large. Okay, so here's the call to action here for people. For a total of $60 off, that's $20 off your first 3 boxes. Visit HelloFresh.com/NDQ60 and enter NDQ60. Again, for a total of $60 off, that's $20 off the first 3 boxes. Visit HelloFresh.com/NDQ60 and enter NDQ60 at checkouts.
You're going to get a whole variety of stuff to pick from. Classic, veggie, family meals. The family meals are designed for like fussy kids who are picky. It totally works for them. It's not going to be weird. They are going to absolutely love it. You get to cook with your family and learn stuff about cooking. They have these awesome menu cards. We've got a whole file of them now. It's really fun to save up and be like, those are my trophies. I learned how to make this and I didn't know how to make it before. If you're traveling and you need to turn it off for a while, you can. They're not weird about it. The stuff shows up on time. Use the promo code. Give the thing a shot. You will not be sorry.
Your family will be happy, especially if you try the Mexican ones. Because, man, that was the takeaway from me.
Hot honey chicken. hot.
Yep, HelloFresh.com. So Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring the podcast. And let's get back to the conversation.
Agreed. Does it seem like we've had trouble getting on the same page and just communicating over the last week or so as friends right after we put out an episode about friendship?
You know what I'm doing, man. The answer is yes. It's been very difficult. I'm planning a thing, and that's consuming all the time.
It is, but it seems like you've got it under control. And the thing being ThinkerCon
Yeah.
for the third chair. Have we talked about ThinkerCon on here? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
We have not. I would absolutely love to, though, because there's a lot of stuff. First of all, I'll just tell you what it is for the third chair. So we're getting together in one location to celebrate educational content online. And we're doing it one night in Huntsville, Alabama. And I've asked a bunch of people from all over the internet, YouTubers, podcasters, artists, authors, musicians, video game developers. I mean, there's a ton of cool people that make smart stuff online. We're all going to get together in the same location and just hang out and celebrate that. And I think it's really cool.
How many of these people did you end up rounding up? What's the number at right now?
It's about 100. It's about 100, but it's not like somebody who made a video and it's a ABC video or whatever. There are some of those people, but just imagine super top tier educational content, like people with millions of followers in whatever it is that they do, and 100 of those types of people. Really high quality, high caliber stuff. I'm excited.
You mean like Logan Paul and Alex Jones?
No, like, I don't know. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Like, there's people that make astronomy podcasts. There's people, I mean, you know, Gray and Brady from Hello Internet. There's people that make YouTube videos about every manner of thing, from, you know, everything from 3D printing stuff to Bob from I Like to Make Stuff to, you know, Physics Girl, to all these people that make...
Emily's in, right?
Emily's in. Captain Disillusion's in. I mean, like, all these people that make just flat out amazing stuff. Robert Krulwich from Radiolab, like really, really good content creators. All going to be in the same location, and we're going to hang out and just spend a night together. It's cool. But, you know, there's a lot
That sounded creepy. So could you clarify... Tell me more about what it's going to be like for all of us to spend the night together.
So imagine everyone hanging out in one room, and that room happens to have a Saturn freaking V rocket hanging from the ceiling, a moon rocket, a moon rocket one end of this room, rockets all over the place, which you know is personally my thing. We're gonna have a German meal. There's a really cool story there. Do you know about Operation Paperclip?
I don't know about Operation Paperclip, but I know why we're going to have a German meal from my time at Redstone.
Yeah, the German rocket scientist.
But we didn't eat there. Is that restaurant that they made a restaurant, right, for the German scientists who were helping out, so they would feel with like legit Bavarian food and stuff?
Yeah, it's called Soldatenstube. So they have that there at Redstone Arsenal. It means like the soldiers' hall where soldiers hang out. But they have a beer garden that they have under the Saturn V rocket, and we're going to do that. So when people come to ThinkerCon, they're going to get to just straight up have a meal under the rocket, eating really good German food. There's a cash bar kind of thing. And then in the UK, it's more popular than here, but there are these troops of people that do these educational comedy shows or whatever you might call it. There's this group of people called the Festival of the Spoken Nerd. And
I like the name.
Yeah, it's a really good name. So Matt Parker and there's this group of people. They do these really cool shows. And so at ThinkerCon, we're going to have some time to eat, some time to hang out, and we're also going to have this little improv show. It's not really an improv show. Things are planned out, but it's like a variety show of intelligent content. And so all this is going to happen at one night in one location, and it's really cool. People are coming from all over. And
okay, first of all, I'm really glad that you clarified that some of their programming is planned. Because, dude, improv makes me nervous. Does improv not make you nervous? You like sitting down and watching people do improv?
Yeah, I like it.
It just kills me.
Really?
Oh, it just kills me. Whose line is it anyway? That pretty much worked because those are like the most talented people on earth.
They are.
But you see normal people try to do that? Oh, did you ever see that viral YouTube video of that guy who was a freestyle rapper and he was on like a cable access show? And the host lady's like, all right, well, exhibition, go ahead and give us some of that freestyle rap. And the guy's like, once
He just couldn't start.
he just couldn't. He couldn't, and he just like smiled at her sheepishly.
I felt awkward there. Like I didn't enjoy that at all.
Oh yeah, well good. Then I'm communicating what I want you to feel.
Like I felt simultaneously unnerved and angry and like, just why aren't you rapping right now, Matt?
Oh, don't get me started. You'd be dazzled. You can't handle my rhymes, Destin Sandlin, because they're so dope.
Imagine these people that work on really cool stuff, and they're all together in one location, and they're popping up one after the other, and they give you like an 8-minute talk on whatever. Like, I know too, the people want to have a debate on which bear is best. You know, just really interesting.
I know all the answers to that. There's no reason in having the debate. I know the answer, but I'm glad they're going to go through the exercise. So these people, they're smart and funny, and they get it, and they won't make me nervous. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah. So with all these people that are going to be there, they are just phenomenally intelligent. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm allowed to say it because I just made it up.
Intelligent? Yeah, it is.
So these people are just, I don't know. Every single one of them, every conversation I've had with every one of them is just amazing. They're just super interesting people. Like Tom Scott. I mean, he thinks about things very, very different. Jamie he's a toxinologist from James Cook University. Did you see any of those videos I made about?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like what was it? The jellyfish or pufferfish or whatever?
Yeah, he's going to be there. What the heck, dude? Like,
really?
One of my favorite people in the world. Yeah. And we're carving out time where people can just hang out and talk like normal humans with those people. We don't want to have a moment where we parade people in front of people and like, look at this person you've seen from the internet. We want to actually have conversations with humans in a cool way, because people that are watching educational content online in general are really, really cool people.
Yeah, educational content, thinking about the world will tend to self-select toward folks who can carry themselves in a conversation.
It does. And so what I'm excited about is getting those people in the room and just getting to interact with them. We did it several years ago in 2014. We had this event called Random Acts of Intelligence, and it was 5 of us got together, and people came from all over. And it was, I mean, I still talk to people that I met
Told you,
that
intelligence
night.
is a word.
It's really cool. There's this lady named, well, I won't say her name. She does wheelchair soccer. That's her thing. And we met that night, and we still email each other to this day. And there's just really cool people out there. And I just think it's a good thing for not all of your relationships to be online. I think it's important to have offline relationships. And that's ultimately...
So you're trying to take online relationships and make them offline relationships.
Yeah, or at least create an opportunity for those to happen. And let's be real, everybody can't be friends with everybody. There's just not enough brain space. But I think it's a really good opportunity to get together with like-minded, cool people and make relationships.
Okay. We've talked about this some. I've contributed some feedback when you've needed it here and there. I've watched you, I wouldn't say your head's been underwater, but treading water comfortably for the last 6 weeks or so, really trying to make this awesome. I know you've put a ton of thought into it. You told me about something today that is going to be amazing. Can we talk about the amazing thing?
Yeah, sure.
The fireworks?
Dude, man. Okay.
That's incredible.
Okay.
No, I want to talk about it. It's your idea, but I want to steal credit and talk about it.
Okay.
So if I'm hearing you right, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
you went and rounded up a whole bunch of different fireworks, like big ones that you launch in the sky and they explode, of different varieties of colors. You are then going to have quality radio people jump on the local Northern Alabama NPR station, and anybody, not just attenders at ThinkerCon, can watch the fireworks show as scientifically minded smart folks explain exactly what's going on with that firework.
In terms of
why
like,
it's that color, why
Yes.
it's exploding that way. That is happening.
Yeah, so I contacted...
That's amazing.
I'm so excited about this idea. There's this guy in the East Coast somewhere, South Carolina. He's done fireworks shows in the past, and I contacted him. I was like, hey, have you ever shot fireworks at the Space and Rocket Center? He's like, yeah. I was like, if I needed a super specific fireworks show, like I need this color at this time, this color at this time, can you do it? He's like, well, I mean, I guess, but why would you want to do that? I was like, because it's awesome. Listen, here's the idea.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah, and so I went and talked to the National Public Radio folks today, actually, and we sat in a room, and they're like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, okay, everybody in Huntsville can see the rocket, right? They're like, yeah. I want to shoot professional fireworks at the rocket, and I want to shoot them in order of the rainbow. And as we're firing them, I want to talk about the chemical elements and compounds that are used to make the colors. For example, like, I don't know, this is how it plays out in my mind. I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but imagine somebody that's really good at talking on the radio sitting there saying, okay, so here's the deal. We're about to fire green. And green, you may know, that compound is created by burning barium salts. And the cool thing about this is, watch, here goes pop, and you can see it, and so everybody can have the radio tuned in. So as the green is falling down to the ground, you'll notice that it's kind of fluttering. And the reason it's fluttering is because those salts have been pounded into a ribbon, which is catching the wind and fluttering, and it's burning from one end of the ribbon to the other, which is why you see that wavy pattern that you're seeing. Like that kind of stuff.
That's going to be sensational, man.
So it's like this.
And as somebody who has seen a lot of wonder and has a few years on me, I'm hard to dazzle. I really, really want to see that. That's never occurred to me. Is it your idea?
Yeah.
So you're the person who's going to get credit for that, or are you going to be all sneaky about it like you tend to be?
I don't care. I just want to see it. I just want to see a chemical fireworks.
Hey, I thought of this.
Yeah.
Adore me.
Yeah.
Because it's that good of an idea. That's going to be incredible.
Yeah, it is. And see, I've thought about this stuff in the past because this matters. Back in Vietnam, you had two different opposing sides fighting. And you had some guys...
Like a lot of wars.
Yeah, a lot of wars. And you had... Shut up, man. You had people with tracers on one side, and the tracers were burning bright blue. And the tracers on the other side, they would burn red, just like in G.I. Joe, right? The bad guys are shooting...
Halo, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, or like Star Wars, where the little phaser bolts or whatever they called, they're shining blaster... What are they called in Star Wars? Blaster, pistol, bolt?
Blasters, yeah.
What do you call the thing that flies through the air in Star Wars? If I fire a blaster,
bolt?
What flies through the air?
I guess. I would say that's a bolt.
Okay, so in Star Wars, they're different colors, right? Well, the reason that's interesting is because in actual war, things that are manufactured in the East, they tend to be, I forget if it's strontium, it burns red, I forget. And on the other side, the green stuff, it's barium. And so the color of the tracer, don't quote me on that, I've got to go research it. That's why I want to watch the Chemical Fireworks show. So the color that they burn is a function of what those countries that manufactured the weapons, the resources they have in the ground. And so you see all that stuff playing out. And I just think it's fascinating to figure out what colors we humans have pulled out of rocks, or what compounds we pulled out of rocks, and when we light them on fire, they make different colors. I want to see that show.
I think if there's ever a war and we have to make our own tracers in Wyoming, it's going to be yellow,
uranium,
and sulfury. It's going to smell real bad. Yeah, we have uranium and sulfur. That's kind of our deal. Kind of bummer elements, man, but it's what we have.
That's interesting. In Alabama, we have iron ore, and I think we've talked about this, and coal. And so
kind of rusty.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be awesome to have a black tracer, like a jet black tracer from coal. That'd be the coolest. Everybody'd be intimidated. And also, it wouldn't trace, but it would be cool.
You can have infrared tracers, right? Can you? Let's look at this. This has to be... So you can't see them with your infrared tracers.
You look that up, and meanwhile, I'm going to tell you something that is going to not impress you.
Yeah.
My ridiculously incredible airsoft rifle had tracer rounds.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I got this thing where every fifth round through the mock silencer would trigger a strobe that would light up glow-in-the-dark biodegradable airsoft rounds.
That's
so
really
I could
cool.
go out and play with people at night, and I had my little I've got it right over here, my little scope, my little night vision scope, and I could scope people up and then just hose them with glowing green bullets. It was really cathartic.
That really cathartic as you hose people with bullets.
Shooting people
according to
with
Wikipedia,
bullets.
some modern designs use compositions that produce little to no visible light and radiate mainly on infrared, being visible only in night vision. That's interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, here it is on the Wikipedia page. Burning strontium yields a bright red light. Russian and Chinese tracer ammunition generates green light using barium salts. How cool is that? And I think strontium is blue, or it might be copper. What color does strontium burn? I love that other people are Googling that same thing. Red strontium chloride or strontium nitrate. Huh. Interesting. So, long story short, I want to see that fireworks show. So if nothing else happens...
Yeah, me too.
If nothing else happens at ThinkerCon, it's going to be the absolute raddest fireworks show for me personally ever. I'm excited about that.
Okay, so explained fireworks show, German food.
We need to come up with a name for the fireworks
show,
like a chemical color fireworks show. We need to how do you...
It needs to be an alliteration.
Yeah.
Fabulous, fantastic,
I need to figure that out.
Phantasmagoric. I'll think of something, and it's going to be really good.
You're coming, though, right? You're coming to ThinkerCon.
Yeah, am I still invited?
Yeah, obviously, dude.
Because I was buying plane tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could we kind of treat it like a NDQ meetup kind of thing?
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
Because
yeah, that was fun and not weird last time. We haven't done one since Nashville. I mean, we've really only done two. We did one here at my place in the most centrally located, easy to get to part of the United States, Lander, Wyoming. And then
we might
did
as well
one
have done that down like a mine
of
shaft.
Nashville. Hey, people came, Ray.
Yeah.
People most definitely came.
Awesome people
It was
came.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Nashville, and this would be, if this counts as sort of a meetup, this is number 3.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
How would we do that, though?
Well, it sounds like you're designing this thing with just enough content to give us an excuse to get together and mingle and get to know new people.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You'd think there'd be some little window in there, or do we just go informal and let people figure it out?
I don't know. I think it'll work.
I mean, we're all going to be in the same room, right?
Yeah.
Like hanging around?
Yeah, totally. And there's little side stage things. We're still trying to work that out around the rocket itself. And it just depends on how many people want to do things. I mean, there's some really cool people. Have you ever heard this guy named Barnaby Dixon? The puppet guy?
The puppet guy?
Yeah. Dude.
Yep.
He's coming.
Seriously, dude, puppet guy, that doesn't sound good. That's like mime guy, but then you see what he actually does, and that shouldn't be possible.
I know. It's like
it's incredible.
He has the ability to speak an anthropomorphic language through his hands. I don't know how to say it other than that. And his puppets are custom. Like, he makes them. Puppets don't exist like the ones he's invented.
He has the ability to speak an anthropomorphic language through his hands. And then you chased that with, I'm not quite sure how to say that. That was one of your finer turns of phrases ever. I was going to say, his puppet's good. Look neat.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, well handled, man.
Words are your superpower. If you compliment me with words, I will accept that. Thank you. The point is, it's going to be an amazing night. And I would love anybody that wants to come to it to go to thinkercon.com and consider coming. There's also stuff you can do around town as well, and we've got some of that stuff on the website. I recommend Cathedral Caverns.
I recommend Hurricane Creek.
Oh, yeah.
I also recommend Turkey Foot Falls.
Where's that?
It's in the National Forest. The
Bankhead National Forest.
Bankhead, thank you.
I've never actually been there.
It's pretty neat.
Really?
It's teeming with tiny fish and no big ones, so I caught the tiny fish.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah. What a neat place. Yeah, I'm going to vouch, too. I'm excited to get back to northern Alabama. I didn't think it would be nice. I thought you were biased and that it would be flat and boring, and it's not. It's really dynamic land, and it's really pretty.
If I'm really honest here, one thing that I really want to do is I want to bring people to Huntsville to let them experience intelligent stuff. Because, I was talking with some local companies here, and they said, look, if we can just get people off the plane, then they'll understand what this place is. But our last name, Alabama, it's kind of a thing to be overcome. But once people get here, they're like, what? What? It's cool.
That was our experience. We loved it. So, are there any tickets left?
Yes.
I thought you said a whole bunch went right away.
They did, yes. There are some tickets left at ThinkerCon.com. There are.
Okay.
I don't know what the flight situation is, honestly. Pricing the tickets is a strange thing, right? Because you want to price it to sell, but you don't want all the locals to instantly just grab them up and be like, oh, here's a thing locally. I should just do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what would happen if you made it dirt cheap.
I know, and so...
The people for whom it would be the easiest to attend would all go.
Exactly. And so I feel really weird about that because I've got a little bit of, the word isn't hate, but people are like, what? Why is it priced like that?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I saw a little bit of that.
And the whole idea is, the people that have bought tickets and have contacted me, they're like, dude, we are so in. And so that's the kind of people that are going to be in that room. And I'm excited about that. I mean, people that, it takes some doing to get on a plane and go somewhere to be at an event. And people that went to the Random Acts thing in 2014, people still talk about that. So I'm hoping to do something similar. If everybody walks away feeling like there was a thing that happened and I was there, that's a win. And of course the fireworks show, because that's what I'm really
I think that's what you're headed for. You've done a good job on this.
Thanks.
I kind of could picture what you were going for when we first started talking about it. I think this is the clearest I've been on it. It's a good idea. It's going to be a good night.
There's a whole group of people that want better for the world, and they want to leave this place in more orderly than when they started out on their journey of life here. And that's the kind of people that are naturally drawn to this thing.
Well, it's like the last conversation we had when we were talking about how do you go find adult friends if you're in the market for that. Well, you pick things where people who are into the same stuff. You look for places that are already self-selecting toward the kind of people you want to mill around with and would like to be friends with.
Yeah. I appreciate you bringing this up, dude. I'm not an idiot. I know what you're doing here. You're talking about it because you're excited for me for doing this thing. And I appreciate that.
I am. You're invested in it, and I appreciate you letting me, again, hijack half of an episode here for stuff that I wanted to bring up. But behind the scenes, just being really good friends, I've watched the mental energy and thought that you've put into this. This is not some haphazard thrown together thing, and I wanted to bring people into that world a little bit. So thanks for indulging me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool.
ThinkerCon.com.
Well played.
Hey, if you're a supporter of the show on Patreon, first of all, thank you. Secondly, check your email for a special note about all this ThinkerCon stuff. Did you get the painting I sent you?
The Winged Hussar?
Yeah, that I had bought from Poland.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I did. And
you weren't supposed to open it. You were not supposed to open that.
Yeah, I feel really bad about that because I do feel like I just completely wrecked a brilliant thing on your part, but it's not completely wrecked because that painting is unreal.
I know.
It currently adorns the wall in my living room, but it's going to adorn my 10-minute Bible hour desk soon.
It's amazing, dude. I have a reciprocal one. Like, you have the one, you've got the charging one, right?
I don't know, maybe a little bit more of a trot.
Okay, cool. I've got one of a winged hussar at rest, and I love it. It's a little vertical painting, and yeah. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait and have you open it, and I was like, Matt, I need you to turn your mic on and open this painting, and then when you opened it, I could say, and the winged hussar, right? Like, literally have it arrive.
You still can. That still counts.
Yeah. No, it doesn't count. I can't do that. It doesn't feel
But you know what, Mr. Master Planner? I called you right after I watched Incredibles 2 to tell you about the fact that they quoted directly from you from one of your videos, and we turned on the little phone recorder thing, and you were like, Mr. Grumpy Grumperton. You ruined the whole dang thing. So
I literally made a winged hussar arrive at your house. And
yeah, yours is better.
Whatever.
Yours is a lot better. And I called you about a children's movie. I'm trying to save face here. It's not working.
Quit the apologizing thing. It's uncomfortable.
I'm not apologizing.
The point is, do you like the painting?
Do
you like the painting?
Gosh, I love the painting.
Okay, cool.
That's two paintings that we have in common.
I know. Wait, what do you mean two? I have one and you have one.
I'm looking at a tiny little. Let me spin around here.
The boner weasel.
Yep, right there. I got a weasel. I got a weasel right here,
We've
brother.
never explained the boner weasel.
Have we? Are you sure?
No, a boner weasel's like when you're typing on your phone and the autocorrects it to something wrong. And we did that because one time you were typing to me and you typed boner weasel. So I commissioned this lady for like $30 to paint these little weasels, and I sent you one.
Yeah, and it's just an adorable, charming little weasel.
Yeah.
He's just kind of standing there looking around with a little pink nose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's adorable. Yeah, nobody would ever know that it's a code for the most offensive autocorrect errors that we've ever encountered in our text exchanges.
It's so good. Yeah. I'm so glad that our paintings in our houses mean stuff that we in our person.
They do.
Okay, cool.
They do. Thanks for taking the initiative on that. It makes me feel important.
You're welcome.